Hey, friends of YouTube, this is Rabe speaking. And if you've been reading my tweets and stuff, I just watched Dragon Prince Season 2. It just came out, and it was enjoyable. It was very enjoyable. My good friend Orion and I watched it together, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts and opinions with you guys on it. Some of this I already discussed with my good friend Orion, so Orion, if you're watching this is going to sound a bit repetitive in our conversation we had earlier. And another thing though, if you have not seen Dragon Prince Season 2, you probably should because I'm going to dig deep into spoilers. So, spoilers, but without further ado, if you have seen this, if you are not going to be spoiled because you've already watched it, we can continue. So, let's continue. So, basically, Dragon Prince Season 2 is about Caleb, Ezran, and Rayla, who have just hatched the Dragon Prince. Zim, I think that's his name. And yeah, we saw that in like the last episode of season 1. So now with the Dragon Prince being born, they can deliver it to its mother. And on the way, they come across some obstacles, including Soren and Claudia. So now let's talk about Caleb for a moment. Now, Caleb, he is learning magic in a different way. I mean, he can't use the orb thing anymore, clearly. I can't remember what the orb thing is called. But basically, we all know he destroyed it to help hatch the Dragon Prince. And so now, with that gone, he tries to learn magic in a different way. Because the elf illusionist said, oh, you can't learn magic, you're human. But he doesn't believe that, which is true. So he tries to learn different ways. I mean, he tried dark magic once, but we all know that he didn't want that. He didn't want to learn dark magic. He didn't want to be like Claudia or Varen. So he learned different types of magic tricks, and bam, he's using that to help his friends out on his journey to deliver the Dragon Prince. And another thing about Caleb, though, is that he has learned the truth on how King Harrow has just been assassinated. So he feels responsible, more responsible to help Ezran out. And I'll get more to Ezran's character in a moment, but yeah, this is a lot for his character though, because Caleb is really developing more as a character with the magic and the passing of his fathers. Then we have Rayla. Now Rayla, we all know that Rayla is developing feelings for Caleb. Like whether you guys like Claudia with Caleb or not, you guys cannot deny the fact that Rayla is developing feelings for Caleb. Like Caleb and Rayla, they've been spending a lot of time together now. Like they are starting to look at each other in a different way. And another thing about Rayla's character is the fact of her having respect for dragons. Like, she still has respect for dragons. She still has that elf pride. Even though she doesn't want to be an assassin anymore, she still has respect for dragons. Like, we saw the way she tried to help that dragon, how she tried to rescue that dragon. Like, that was just amazing. Like, seeing that she hasn't given up her elf pride. Like, she doesn't want to give it up. She just wants to keep the elves from fighting the humans. Like, that's what she wants. I think Ezran has the most character development. Now, the reason why I think that is because, one, we see him trying to teach the dragonling how to fly. Like, he's trying to teach them, like, oh, to fly, you can do this. Because we all know he has that connection with animals. He can talk to them and stuff. We don't know how he has that connection, but, I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be explained later in later seasons, but he's very caretaking of them. But I feel like another big thing about his character development was when he finds out that King Harrow has passed away, how he has been assassinated. Like, he feels responsible for the kingdom now. He feels like I'm the king now. I need to lead my kingdom. I can't go with you guys to deliver them to the Dragon Queen. Like, I can't do that. Like, wow, that's major character development though. Even though Ezra is not mature, even though he's not older yet, he still feels like I can do something. I can be the king. We saw the young queen who is like around his age. Like, she, even though she's young, she seems like a really smart leader. Like, she seems really smart and all that. And I'll explain that in a moment. But I can see that with Ezrin though. I think Ezrin and that queen will meet up someday. Enough about the main characters. Let's talk about Soren and Claudia. Now, Soren is not a bad dude. Neither is Claudia. But let's talk about Soren for a moment now. Soren, he is assigned to kill the princess, just like Varen told him to. Like, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. And when he gets crippled by the dragon, he tells Claudia, like, I'm kind of glad that I'm crippled now because I don't have to assassinate those boys. I don't have to do my dad's dirty work. I can just be something else. Like, I don't have to do it anymore because he doesn't want to do it. Like, even though he's assigned to do this stuff, even though he serves a bad dude, he still doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. He's a good person. Like, but yeah, he doesn't want to let his father down. But this is the way to get out of it. Now Claudia, she said in the last season, like, what should I do? Like, what if I have to choose between saving my brother and the egg? And her father says, save the egg. But she doesn't. She doesn't save the dragon prince. She saves Soren. She goes up to a deer, a baby deer, and kills it. Like, we didn't see her kill the deer, but we all know she did it. We all know she did. And she has that white stripe in her hair after she heals Soren from being crippled. Like, even though it was for a cause to save her brother, she still did something pretty dark though. She did something pretty dark, and if like something else happens, like she has to choose between saving her brother and saving a different person. Like, say if she has to save her brother again, and there's a human that she has to kill, she's gonna kill that human. Like she's gonna kill a person to save her brother. Like that's how far she could get, and I can see that happening though. I can see her being like her father. And speaking of Daddy, let's talk about him. Let's talk about Varen. Now, Varen, even though he's a bad dude, even though he's done some really bad things, he has pride. Like he's trying to do the right thing, but executing in a really evil way. Like he wants to take down the elves. Like he wants to take them down, but he doesn't know how to do it. So he goes up to like the kings, the queens, like try to get them to be like, hey, let's work together to take them down. The two kings and the one queen, they're like, okay, we'll do it, we'll do it. And they just the way they say it though, they just say it blindly. Like they kind of say it like they're idiots, like they don't know what they're getting themselves into. But yet the young queen here is just like, no. Even after Varen tells that story to the queen's still like, no, I don't want to do this. We saved our people years and years ago. I don't want to waste them on some war. Like, I don't want to waste them on some war with the elves. And this gets all the other monarchs to agree. And because of this puts all of Varen's plan in jeopardy. There's still one other drastic measure he can take. Varen goes to this mirror and he sees this elf, like, wizard guy. I don't know. We don't know who he is. Like, Varen tried looking him up, like doing some research in books, but every time he found a page, it just blurred out. Like, it just blurred out so that way he wouldn't learn any information about him. I think his name is like A. I don't remember. It starts with an A. Even though Varen does not trust him at first, even though it's very hard for him to learn who he is, Varen still needs help of him. He still needs it. And so, like, this leads to them contacting each other through that little, like, earpiece, whatever. Like, it's like a headphone or something, a way to communicate with him, just to hear him. And it's really interesting how magic works in this universe, like how it works, because it's like technology only with magic instead. And so this leads to Varen going on a rampage against knights and stuff. Like he kills them, but in a different way. It's not like bloody or gory or anything like that. He's just turning them to objects like ice, stone, and he's just shattering them. Like that's what I like about this. Like they're doing the action in a different way though. Like they're not holding back. I mean, it's just in a different way. It's just in a more different, violent way. The elf dude that Varen's been talking to through the mirror, like he's pretty shady though. Like he's a very shady dude. Like I know he said like, "Oh, I'm your servant, Varen." Like he's not his servant. Like it's more like Varen being the servant to this guy, cause like there's nothing like he hasn't learned anything about him. He hasn't learned anything, like nothing from his past or anything. I think this guy in the mirror is the real main antagonist. I think he's the final antagonist to this. Varen's just a pawn. Kind of remind me a bit of in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with the Evil Queen and the Magic Mirror, because like the reason why I brought this up was because like I feel like the people working on this show, Dragon Prince, they were just like, hey, let's look at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Like let's look at the Evil Queen and the Magic Mirror. Let's take this scene, use it for inspiration, and put it into our show. I feel like that's what they were doing. I'm not saying they were ripping off Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm not saying they did that, but it's fun. It's fun to see how much you can compare these two scenes. Now let's talk about the animation. Now the animation, you can tell that they're walking better in this season than they did in last season. I'm not saying I'm against like how the animation was in the last season. Like I was getting used to how they were moving and stuff, how it looked a bit laggy. I was getting used to it, but some people, you know, they weren't. They were complaining to the people working on this show, saying like, "Oh yeah, you got a good story, but your animation could be better." And so the people working on this show, it's like they were listening to the fans. It's like they were listening to the fans, like, "Hey, maybe we should add a bit more frames." And yeah, you can tell like they added more frames. Like, they're walking better and they're fighting better too. Like the fights, oh my god! Like I think the best fight in this was with Anna. I can see why people consider her a fan favorite. Like she's just so badass. So I feel like she's probably one of the strongest characters in the show. Like except for people who have magic though. I feel like when it comes to combat and training and all that, I feel like she's the best one. Like the best knight around. No wonder she's a general and stuff. Like she's just that strong though. And I also like how like the environment looks like when they're on the mountain with the elf illusionist. Like that place looks beautiful though. It looks really gorgeous though. My only complaint with this was the whole geographic thing. I don't know how else to explain it, but basically, remember when they were trying to cross the lake and they went on the boat, and then an episode or two later or something like that, they have Sora and Claudia caught up to them with the prisoner tied up behind them. Like how'd that happen though? Like would it make sense for Sora and Claudia just to go on a boat and chase them down, or just I don't know. That didn't really make sense to me. Like my friend Orion pointed that out to me, and I kind of agree with them on that. But maybe you guys will explain it better. I don't know, but that's the only complaint I have. I'm not gonna let something like that ruin it for me. I'm not gonna let something like that ruin me enjoying this season. I don't know how else I say that, but basically, other than that, this season was amazing though. Great animation, great character development. It got darker with Varen and Claudia. Like this was a great season though. Like And if you guys enjoyed this season, I can understand that though. Like, but let me know in the comment section down below if you really did enjoy this season or not though. Like, let me know in the comment section down below. This season was better than the first season. Like, I'm not saying it was way better, but better. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10 though. I just enjoyed it that much. Like, you guys already know why I would give it a 9 out of 10. And I just want to put a theory out here real quick though before I end this video. Like, that bird at the end, that King Harold's pet bird, it escaped. And so, like, I'm kind of wondering, though, like, what if King Harold's spirit is in that bird, though? Like, what if King Harold didn't really die? Like, what if Varan switched the bodies of the bird and King Harold? If you have not subscribed to the channel, but you would like to, please make sure you do. It really helps out the channel. And that's all I have to say. I'm Rob A, and may the anime force be with you.